First and foremost, just so proud of our team. It's been a special year to date, and it's been a really fun group to coach, and just so proud and happy for them to get this opportunity to get to go to the NCAA tournament. I guess secondly, would say a special thank you to all the great Murray State fans. It's one of the best environments I've ever been a part of in my time. Over 8,000 people in there Friday night, and then Saturday night over 10,500 for the championship game. Definitely some memories for a lifetime.
Any questions?
Coach, do you have a preferred landing spot for the NCAA tournament?
I don't even know where the landing spots are. We're looking forward to finding out Sunday night, and hopefully have a good week of practice and find the right balance between keeping our guys healthy and fresh, but also keeping them sharp and keep them competing at the level they've been competing at because they've been terrific.
Coach, I know it seems like somewhat of a moot point because you won the OVC championship, but had you guys fallen on Saturday, would you have made a pitch? And if so, what would your pitch have been for the NCAA tournament?
Not necessary. We're in the field.
Who benefits most from, I assume you'll give a little rest this week. Is there a player or two that maybe really kind of needed this?
Well, John and Shaq both played all 80 minutes this weekend and played them very well. So I think having a couple days off will be good for them. But no, I think our team has been really, really fresh all season long. I think Coach Whitman, Eric Frederick, trainer, I think they've done a great job with them. We changed up how we practiced over the last 5.5 weeks, and I thought it really benefited our guys so that they could perform at their best when their best was needed this weekend.
What change did you make in the way you practice?
Well, that's what's been a lot of fun about this year. There's so many similarities between last season and this season, Will. Who we lost to in conference play, who we played in the tournament. Last year we had to win 13 straight games to get to the NCAA tournament. This year we had to win 11. But last year when we were sitting there at 13-5 with 2 conference losses, we didn't change anything. We just felt like this is our 8-man rotation. We just got to get better, and we were able to do that. After we lost to Jacksonville State this year, we met as a staff, and sitting at 16-4, really in good shape. I just felt for us to beat the best teams in our league, we needed to make some changes this year. And so we changed up our lineup, we changed up our rotation, made some major changes to our defensive philosophy, and we changed how we practiced from a physicality standpoint, a little bit more rest earlier in the week than we normally would. And, it took a couple games there, Tennessee Tech, Eastern Illinois, SIUE, where we weren't quite as sharp as we had been. But I thought, like anything, with more experience and more time playing that way and playing that rotation, we got better as the season went along. And we were at our best at the end of the year when it mattered the most.
Coach, your 3 starting guards, Tevin, Ja, Shaq, obviously rebounded well, defended well in the OVC championship. But I felt the loudest moment, maybe the most impressive moment, was when KJ Williams got the shot clock violation and the stuff at the line. What has he been doing to really improve himself defensively away from the basket?
He's been really good all year. Very proud of him. He's had a terrific freshman season. He's been so productive on the glass for us. And then he has a really good chemistry with Ja on the lobs and getting open around the basket and just creating passing lanes for Ja to get him easy baskets. I think that's been a big part of his development as a player. In our league, at his position, at 6'9", 250 pounds, you end up guarding a lot of skilled forwards who play out on the perimeter. It's just the way our league is, and so he's really had to develop there and has made a lot of progress, not only on his interior defense, but probably more importantly on his perimeter defense.
I don't think we've spoken with you here since the awards came out, just about the postseason awards, how you think that went, and also the tournament awards. Ja, the obvious MVP there too.
Well, first off, you congratulate Ja on the Player of the Year award. I think he won 8 Players of the Week, which I guess was tied a record for our league. He's had a historic season. I mean, almost 25 points a game, 10 assists. I think what makes it even more impressive is just the Player of the Year award that is the years that Dylan Windler, Terry Taylor, and Jason Burnell had. I mean, those 3 guys could have been Player of the Year in a lot of leagues, but Ja was just had this magical season. So, really happy for him and what he was able to accomplish. Then the other 2, that was kind of a foregone conclusion. The other 2 awards, with Shaq Buchanan, I was a little nervous. I knew he was a first-team All-League guy, but sometimes, as we've talked about, those awards are voted on. They just look at the top scorers, and we'll give it to this guy, instead of focusing on who impacts winning the most. And so I was thrilled to see him make first-team All-League. He certainly deserved it because of his play at both ends of the floor. And then I know he's really proud of that Defensive Player of the Year award. And he deserved it, and he backed it up on Friday and Saturday night. That's for sure. He backed it up. And then Darnell, I don't know if you've ever been more proud of somebody. I mean, this summer, he couldn't get up and down the floor in our summer pickup games. He couldn't make 2 straight trips up and down the floor. He's lost over 40 pounds. He's just worked extremely hard to get better every day, and you've seen his growth every single time out. And I think since he's gone into the starting lineup, his averaged very close to a double-double, somewhere around like 14 points, 9.5 rebounds, I believe. And for him to get that all-newcomer first team, I thought was very deserving. And then he backed it up too with that second-half performance against Belmont on Saturday.
When you talk about a guy like Darnell, who's had the season that he's had, the great start against Wright State, then trying to figure things out, then into the starting lineup. When you guys are recruiting guys like that, how do you lock in on somebody that maybe looks like a diamond in the rough, but you guys find something that you then sharpen and develop as the season comes along?
Well, we've got a process we go through, and it really factors in everything, starting with their character and really what they're made of. Do they love to play? You would think that, do you love to play? Do they work hard? You would think those would be givens, but they're not. They're not. So you really got to be thorough there and find guys who match those traits, and we've been fortunate to do that. But then you just had to watch him for 5 minutes, and you see the skill level, the ability to catch, his footwork, his passing for a guy at 6'8", 285 pounds. It didn't take very long to identify that. And, and then you just got to commit to the process of getting better. And that's what's been so fun about this team. We really just returned a 12-point-a-game guy and a 9-point-a-game guy off last year's team. We lost the best player in the league in Jonathan Stark. We lost Terrell Miller, probably the best forward in the league last year. And so we had to have guys step forward in their first year in the program, and Darnell's one who has certainly done that.
To that line, could you address a little on your assistant coaches? I know Tim Kane, he didn't do the scout on these, but he did the Austin P game. You won both of those. I thought he was tremendous. Okay, Casey on one, Shane on the other. I spoke with Shane on the post-game interview. Tells me he gets to bed about 4:30 Saturday morning.
Yeah.
But that's how much work went into what he needed to do to get the team ready. And, I mean, they sacrifice a lot.
Well, all 3 are terrific, and we're really fortunate to have them here at Murray State. First and foremost, they're great men, which is what I think is most important when you're hiring a staff, and great family men. And they really take a lot of pride in making an impact on our players' lives, which is most important to me. The basketball will take care of itself because they're really good at what they do. But just to back it up with numbers, over the last 2 years, we're here in our league, we're a Thursday, Saturday league. Our tournament's Friday, Saturday, and we're 20-0 on Saturdays the last 2 years, 20-0 on Saturdays. And I think that's a credit to our 3 assistants and their preparation, getting our guys ready to go on those quick turnarounds. And, really fortunate to have them, all 3, Coach Nichols, Coach Kane, Coach Long. Can't say enough good things about them and the job they do.
You spoke a little bit about Jonathan and what he provided last season. Obviously, he got to be a fan this weekend and got to be alongside you guys. What was it like to have him just in the stands and just kind of behind you guys, knowing that he was OVC Player of the Year and Tournament MVP last season, and he got to watch Ja do that very same thing?
That's why Murray State is Murray State. You know, when you pick up your phone after that championship game Saturday night, you got text messages from Popeye Jones and Isaiah Cannon and Jonathan Starks there. You know, we had a blast. It was great just to get to spend time with him. You know, he was right there in the meeting room with Coach Nichols, me and the coaches till 4 a.m. on Friday night, getting ready for the championship game. He wanted to act like he was assisting, but I think he was just hanging out. But it was a lot of fun to have him there, and you know, just so happy for him. You know, he's a big part of this year's team. He helped us lay the foundation for what we want our program to be about moving forward: the hard work, the character, the toughness, and ultimately the winning. So he's an all-time great here.
You've spoken a lot on Belmont's chances in the NCAA tournament and a potential bid. To what would you say? I know you've talked a lot about it, but it's going to be a long week for them and Lipscomb and other programs. What would you say about a team like Belmont and their chances?
I would hope they would be in. I mean, they have Dylan Windler, one of the top players in the country, not in the league, not low to mid-major, one of the top players in the country. They have a winning record in the Quad 1 and Quad 2, where a lot of the other bubble teams are 6-15, 7-12, 6-10, what have you. They have a winning record there. The top 4 teams in our league have been just outstanding this season. They have the win over us here, one out at UCLA. You know, I'll say this: I can't speak to all the metrics and how they pick. I guarantee you there are a lot of teams out there who would hate to see Belmont pop up on their line on Sunday night.
Darlene Mazzone, Paducah Life magazine, longtime sports magazine here in the region, but this year in particular we are. I'm just wondering, how do you strategically look at the emotional and mental transition to playing on this stage for players?
As we go into the NCAA tournament, we try to keep things very simple here. We're very process-oriented. We talk about toughness a lot in our program, and the way we define toughness is your ability to move on and focus on the next most important thing. At the end of January, we lost January 31st at Jacksonville State. In our meeting that night after the game, we told our players, if you want to go to the NCAA tournament, if you want to win a regular season championship, this has to be our last loss of the season. And so we really went into tournament mode at that point. That was our long-term vision, and then the short-term vision was just to focus on getting better every day and winning the next game. And so we'll take the same approach this week. Nothing will change for us. I do hope the experience of having gone through it last year for guys like Ja and Shaq, Breon Sanchez, Anthony Smith, even though he's sitting out right now. Tevin Brown was there as a red shirt. So I hope those guys haven't been through it. They can help relay some of those experiences to our newcomers because I want us preparing to win in the tournament and not just go play and have a good time.
Coach, it's 2019, but you seem to have at least a really good plan on how to block out social media. Can you give me any tips on how to do that?
Man, because of guys like you have to deactivate your social media. And then when the season ends, you turn it back on. I turned mine back on yesterday, and it's going off here in about 48 hours. So I don't have to read any more nonsense on there.
This is kind of a strange question. Usually Ed would be the one asking it, but
Ed and strange questions go hand in hand.
They do.
there you go. But clearly, when you get a player like John Morant, I mean, he comes in as a freshman. There are a lot of things that he has to learn. On the other hand, he's kind of almost a once-in-a-lifetime kind of player. Were there things that you had to learn as far as how to coach a guy like that?
Well, I was really lucky in my time as an assistant to watch the way Coach Prohm coached Isaiah Cannon and Cameron Payne at the point guard position. That was a great learning experience for me to get to see that every day. No, it's been good for me. It's been good for our staff. I think I guess the best thing I would say is you better be prepared when you're coaching a player who's that smart and sees what he sees out on the floor and has that type of basketball IQ. You can't go into a meeting and wing it. You better be prepared and know what you're talking about, because he's going to see right through it. But it's been a lot of fun for me because he can see things out there on the floor that we might not see as coaches. And so that communication has been important. I told the story after the game. I mean, they had cut the lead to 1, and we had the ball with like 3.5 minutes to go. I thought the guys looked tired. He was bringing the ball up the court. I waved for him to come over to the sideline and call timeout, so I was going to let them rest, and then we'd come out and execute. And he waved over like, no, I got it. And so I said, all right, go ahead. And then he drove it in there for one of those unbelievable left-hand finishes. And as I said after the game, I thought it was some big-time coaching.
Speaking of the championship, Coach, 2 specific moments. One, the dunk that he had. You just sat down on the scorer's table at that point. Kind of looked like, what were we thinking then, and what was the moment when you just sat down on the scorer's table? Like, you'd seen it all at that point?
I don't remember sitting down. I mean, it was a big-time dunk. I know that, and I thought he had gotten hit in the charge circle, so I thought it was an and one. So I don't remember the reaction, but that was probably me asking why there wasn't a foul called there.
The other one was Shaq bringing a guy up. The Racers go up 71-65. There's been a lot made of it, but Belmont goes in transition. Shaq's player that's trailing behind him falls. He helps him up. What are your thoughts on something like that? There's been a lot made of that over the last couple of days.
Again, I didn't see it either, but not surprised. I mean, we've got high character people on our team. I think they compete. I mean, you saw it. Our guys compete. Our guys play hard. You've seen it all year. Like, there are a couple games we didn't necessarily play well, but you can't ever come to me and say these guys don't play their tails off out there for 40 minutes. But they do it the right way. They compete the right way. And, I'm not surprised to hear Shaq would do that. That guy's a warrior, ultimate winner. So, no surprise there.
One final one on the slippage of the court decals that we continue to see. Is that something that has got to be addressed for next year?
I would think it has to be. It's too dangerous. There's too much on the line. Most importantly, that there could be an injury. Secondly, that a slip that leads to a travel or what have you that can have a huge impact on the game. I saw it quite a bit, and it's something we've got to get fixed, that's for sure.